Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. I am your host, Metal Mike, and welcome. Today is the continuation of week number 1 of the NFL regular season. We are also going to talk some college football. Some upsets happened yesterday. But first, I do want to say one thing. Number one, actually, I want to say a few things. Number one, I want to say thank you to everybody who is showing their love and support to helping build the Huddle Hub podcast by hitting the follow button, by watching videos, by commenting, whether they're nice comments or bad comments or not so nice comments, I should say. I just being there and watching the videos and hitting that follow button and subscribing on the YouTube and the ongoing support to help building this brand has been astonishing to watch. You know, when I first started podcasting almost 6 years ago, I started doing it as just fun, right? Because that's how it all starts out. And I still, to this day, have fun doing this. I love doing this. I love coming live every Sunday morning and doing this show, or when we do pop-up shows like we did on Thursday night for the Eagles and the Cowboys, like we do for the draft, like we do for free agency when free agency first opens up, or when breaking news happens like the Micah Parsons trade. I love doing this show on Sundays for you guys. And the Huddle Hub, yes, is fairly young. It's pretty much in its, infancy stage, whatever you want to say, because myself and John are starting from the ground up. But when I started podcasting almost 6 years ago, I started a podcast called Drop the Mic. Play on my name, Mike, yes. And it was a music podcast. And what I did was, if a new album dropped or if I went to a show, I would go on the podcast and review it. If a new song came out, sit there and analyze it, review it, everything. And then in 2020, I started a pro wrestling podcast called Wrestling City with somebody that I met at a wrestling pay-per-view before the pandemic hit. And right when we were getting ready to go live on one of their friends' radio stations, online radio networks, literally disappeared on me. Haven't heard from the person since. And we're going on 6 years. Can you believe that? 6 years since we dealt with the pandemic? That's nuts. But for a little bit, I thought that was it. I thought that was done. I thought it was it. But in that time between that happening and now, evolvement happened. And instead of giving up, I continued. Instead of giving up and stopping the growth, I kept growing. I kept learning how to be a better host, how to be a better talker, how to be doing things better. And I'm still learning to this day. And I don't think I'll ever stop learning. But to watch the growth of the Huddle Hub podcast since the start in March has been outstanding and amusing, and all of the great words in between. Whether the comments are nice or the comments are, to the point of like, do I respond or do I just let this go? I just let it go. It's been great. And I appreciate it. And John appreciates it. So thank you to everybody. And please continue spreading the word about the Huddle Hub podcast. You can go follow the Huddle Hub podcast. If you're not on the Twitch channel, head over to the Twitch channel. In the bio, all the links to all the social medias are in the bio. This is the easiest way to get to the social medias, by going over to the Twitch and clicking on the link to every social media on TikTok, X, and on YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. Hitting that follow button on YouTube, the subscribe button, because that's how you follow on YouTube. And it would definitely be appreciated if you went and did that, because that's how you follow on YouTube. You don't have to pay anything. And go check out the videos and help those continue to grow. It would definitely be appreciated. On Twitch, make sure you're hitting that follow button as well. We are very, very close to Twitch affiliate. That's when once we hit that, you guys can start subscribing and all that stuff on Twitch as well. And since we are close to affiliation on Twitch, there are some perks that I'm trying to put together for you guys to earn for when you do subscribe. So, help us build the Huddle Hub podcast going into the 2025 season and beyond. It would definitely be appreciated as we continue to build here on the Huddle Hub podcast. Okay. With that being said, I was going to save this announcement for the end. Okay. Was going to save this announcement for the end, but I figured, you know what? We're going to do this at the beginning before we get into everything college football and NFL and all that stuff. I'm going to make this announcement right now. With everything that I said about the growth of the Huddle Hub podcast and the continuing growing of the Huddle Hub podcast, yes, it's still in its fairly young stages of growth. It is. Because some people would look at our pages and be like, oh man, you only have this many followers or this many subscribers. Who cares? We're growing. That's part of it. At one point, you only had 10 subscribers or 10 followers or 15 or 100. At one point, you did as well. It's all about growing and attracting an audience. And that's what I feel like we're doing here. There are a lot of sports podcasts out there, specifically football. Just like pro wrestling content, there's a lot of football content out there. So it's all about separating yourself from the pack, doing something that others aren't doing to attract the crowd to come and watch you. Whether it's live, whether it's on the replay, whether it's the shorts, the video shorts, or anything like that. You got to do something to kind of separate yourself from the pack, right? Well, me and John have made a decision because, as you notice, John's not here on Sundays. Okay, John has been taking some time to himself. He's had some personal things going on, and he's had some things to take care of, and he knows that he always has my love and support. Me and John, as you guys may not have known, me and John have been best friends for over 20 years. For over 20 years. So he is not only my best friend, he is my brother. He is family. We spend holidays together at times. If he doesn't have plans with his blood family, with his family, we spend holidays together. Because he's family. He's not just my best friend, he's my brother. So when he says to me, Mike, I need some time, go for it. Do your thing, take your time. And when and if you're ready to come back and do the show on Sundays, come. Well, he had come to me and said that Sundays wasn't good for him. Okay, well, what days would be good for you? Well, the evening time is better for him. And I said to him, okay, what day? He went Tuesday. Tuesday's probably the best day. Okay? Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Huddle Hub podcast will be doing a second live. We're going to be doing a week in review show on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time starting this Tuesday. Okay? So big announcement for you guys. Starting this Tuesday. Let me do that again. Big announcement for you guys. Starting this Tuesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, myself and the Candyman Johnny H will be going live for a week in review show. So come join us here on twitch.tv/The Huddle Hub Podcast and youtube.com/@The Huddle Hub Pod for the second show of the Huddle Hub Podcast and a second day of going live. Okay. And also make sure you're heading over and checking out all the video game content as we do our online dynasty for NCAA Football 26. Go check that out as well. We have so much going onto the YouTube channel, and like I said, we are growing. And we are going to be giving you guys more content than just coming on a show and talking about football. We're going to be giving you video game content. At some point in the near future, IRL content, meaning, next year during training camp, I might go to the Eagles training camp and record and commentate. Going to college games and doing the same thing. Football, NFL games. So much content is in the works to be put on the YouTube, but we know that we don't want to bite off more than we could chew, and it's going to be in due time that this content comes. This is just the stuff that's being planned and in the works right now. Video game content is coming. We have video game content being released, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday. So be ready for that. It'd be definitely appreciated if you go check out that Dynasty, because year one of our Dynasty was great. Great for me, at least. It was good for John, too. But it was really good for me. So. But there's the big announcement for you guys. This Tuesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, myself and the cameraman Johnny H will be live for a week in review post show of the Huddle Hub podcast. So we'll be talking about everything that went on this week in football, college, the NFL, everything. So come join us. Let's get into it. The college football top 25. Oh man, this season is really turning out to be a good one. Okay, and I'll say this: we're only 3 weeks in. If you want to count week 0, we're 3 weeks in. If you don't want to count week 0 because your team didn't play in week 0, then we're 2 weeks in. And it has been a doozy so far. First off, let's run down the top 25 from week 1 to week 2. Ohio State, as we know, moved up to number 1. They moved up 2 spots from the number 3 spot. Penn State stayed at the number 2. LSU bumped up from number 9 to number 3, so they moved up 6 spots. Georgia moved up from 5 to 4 as 1 spot. Miami moved up from 10 to 5. That's 5 spots. Oregon moved up from number 7 to 6 at 1 spot. Texas took a pretty big fall, moving down 6 spots from number 1 to number 7. Clemson moved down from number 4 to number 8. Notre Dame from number 6 to number 9. South Carolina at number 10 moved up 3 spots from 13. Illinois moved up 1 spot from number 12. Arizona State moved down 1 spot from number 11. Florida bumped up 2 spots from number 15. Florida State, they moved up 12 spots from unranked, which was the biggest jump up. And the biggest fall down was Alabama, moving down 13 spots after falling from number 8, losing to Florida State. Michigan moved down 1 spot from 14 to 15. Iowa State moved up 6 spots from 22 to 6. SMU moved down 1 spot from 16 to 17. Oklahoma and Texas A&M both stayed in their respective spots, 18 and 19. Ole Miss moved up 1 spot from 21 to 20. Tennessee moved up 2 spots from 24 to 22. Indiana moved down 3 spots from 20 to 23. Texas Tech down 1 spot from 23 to 24. And Utah moved up in the ranks after being unranked. That's from week 1 to week 2. Okay? But then we get into the week 2 action, and we had some upsets this week. First off, Mississippi State upset number 12 Arizona State 24 to 20. So, I mean, I'll say this. A lot of people may be shocked about these upsets, okay? But how can you be shocked about an upset that a team had and did when we are fairly young into this season? You can't take account for how the team was last year because teams change. Recruiting changed. Players moved on. Teams, the rosters have changed. So when you sit here and say in week 2, is it believable that Mississippi State can come in and defeat a ranked team? Yeah, it is. Just like South Florida yesterday defeat number 13 Florida 18 to 16. Now, we call it an upset because it's a ranked team losing to an unranked team. But is it realistically an upset because we're fairly young into the season and we don't know how these teams are built yet? Is it really? I pose that question. Is it really an upset at this point of the season in week 2 if we don't know how these teams are going to perform? Because right now, again, teams change from recruiting. Teams change in roster. So the team could be better than what they're being put out to be. And they're coming in and beating ranked teams. So South Florida comes into Florida and defeats the number 13 ranked team in the nation. Why? Because there's an unknown with South Florida. You don't know how this team is built until we get into, week 4 and week 5, when we're deep into the season and these teams have somewhat of a record, right? So South Florida right now, it's believable for South Florida to come in and beat Florida because you don't know how they're built. Florida can be one of the worst teams in football right now, and we don't know it. Why? Because they're ranked. There were a lot of crazy blowouts, Cam. A lot of crazy blowouts. We're going to go down the scoreboard in a minute in the top 25. We're just going over some of the upsets, the considered upsets that happened. Baylor came in and defeated number 17 SMU. SMU, I will say this, they are just, they're falling apart. They are falling apart pretty much at the seams. They are. They go from a playoff team, and now they can't come out to win a game, to save their life, basically. I mean, it was a close game against Baylor, 48-45, double overtime finish. But this is the second week that SMU won last week. I apologize. So SMU fell this week and got upset by Baylor. I was thinking of a different team. That's what happens. The new rankings do not come out until Tuesday. So there's going to be a new ranking that comes out today, but that's not the official ranking. The official rankings and placements come out on Tuesday. Tuesday morning around 10 a.m. is when they come out. So we'll get the official rankings on Tuesday morning. And then normally when we get towards the end of the season, like week 11, week 12, that's when they start getting the rankings out. Literally, games happen on Saturday. We'll get the rankings on Sunday afternoon already. Like later on in the season, around that week 11, week 12, week 13 time is when they just pump them out on a Sunday. It's like What's really funny is it's like the committee says, all right, it's early in the season. We have enough action going on Saturday. We're going to sleep in on Sunday and Monday and then come back Tuesday and do our job. But since we're so late into the season and so close to the playoffs, we need to figure this thing out. We got to get to work on Sunday afternoon. So it's like they set the alarm for Sunday afternoon later in the season. Like, why can't you guys do this in the regular? Like, why can't you do this earlier in the season, right? Like, get your ass out of bed and go do those rankings on Sunday because you know we're sitting here itching, waiting to see where our team sits. Exactly. That's how it goes. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, after week 10 is when they start getting their ass out of bed on Sundays. Yeah. It's hilarious. It's like right after it's like right after Thanksgiving is when it happens. Like, they prep themselves for the food coma they're going to have from all the turkey and food they eat, right? And then they're like, okay, all right, now we got to get ready because, you know, we got to get up on. It's like they get up early on Sunday to go do their holiday shopping late into the season because it's, you know, during the holidays, it's bowl season, right? You know, Christmas Eve is actually a couple days before Christmas Eve is when the first bowl game happens. Like December 19th or something like that is when the first bowl game, or December 18th is when the first bowl game happens. And it's some horseshit bowl, like, you know, what's the name of this? It's like Kaiser's Notebook 60-page bowl or something like that, you know. That's how it is. some fucking stupid bowl name, right? But yeah, Baylor is a very impressive. Yeah, the Nacho Bowl, right? The Nacho Cheese Bowl. Baylor is very impressive, winning 48-46 yesterday in double overtime against number 17 SMU. At number 18 Oklahoma defeated number 15 Michigan. Michigan, I'll say this, a lot of people have been talking about this Michigan team and saying that, you know, they're going to get back to form to when Harbaugh was there and get back to the national championship and all this stuff. And after yesterday going toe-to-toe with Oklahoma, I mean, I don't know if that's really the case. I mean, there are so many better teams out there than Michigan right now. You got Ohio State, who beat the crap out of Grambling 70-0. Penn State shut out Florida International 34-0. Georgia beat Austin Peay 28-6. Miami defeated Bethune-Cookman 45-3. Oregon defeated Oklahoma State 69-3. Oh, these scores get worse. Florida State defeated Florida State defeated East Texas A&M 77-3. And I believe, if I'm correct on this, this is the highest that Florida State has ever beaten a team. Like, the score differential and the highest they've ever scored in a game. I mean, you don't stop coaching. I mean, the coaches are going to keep coaching. But a lot of these, you know, a lot of these schools that you don't expect to see in the playoffs and the rankings, hell, even in a bowl game at the end of the year, you know, you got to kind of give them credit for at least showing up and playing and trying. I mean, and I'm not trying to, you know, little bro these smaller schools. It's just that when you don't have the funds or you don't have the support to do the recruiting, to go out and get, you know, 4 or 5-star recruits, and you only have enough in funds to go and recruit, you know, 1 and 2-star players, that's rough. And then sometimes you get that diamond in the rough to where there is a 4-star player playing for one of these low-end schools. You know, North Dakota and South Dakota State have been a test to that the past couple of years, getting some guys out into the NFL. You know, Carson Wentz coming out of, I believe it was North Dakota State. You know, so, I mean, and Carson Wentz up until his first injury against the Rams in his second year was on the fast track to MVP, fast track to raising the Lombardi trophy. I mean, he did raise the Lombardi, but it was because of Nick Foles, right? So it's pretty much like sometimes they have that diamond in the rough player, but that's one player that can't just take the whole school, right? They can't just take the whole school to being in a rank. College football is, just like it's a full-on team sport. So that one player isn't going to do it for you. But Florida State ends up scoring the most points in school history, as I know. I'll have to look up that statistic again, but I believe that is a correct statistic. And Tennessee defeated East Tennessee State 72-17. Indiana defeated Kennesaw State 56-9. Utah defeated Cal Poly 63-9, and Texas Tech defeated Kent State 62-14. So, I mean, these scores were crazy yesterday. Crazy. And again, these lower schools, these schools that don't have the funds or abilities to go out and recruit, 3-star or better players, it's rough for them. And you got to kind of give them credit for showing up and giving it a shot. You can't just, I don't know. So, but that's that for the college football top 25 in the scoreboard. I'll write some notes down here. So I'm sure me and John will talk more about it on the Tuesday show, as again, me and John will be going live on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the new show, our weekend review show. So yes, the Huddle Hub podcast. Cam, if you missed the announcement, the Huddle Hub podcast is adding a second show to the week. We will be live on Tuesday. Starting Tuesday, September 9th, we will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a weekend review show. So John will no longer be on the Sunday show, but he is good to go for a Tuesday show. So we're going to add a second show to the Huddle Hub podcast. So, but let's take 25 seconds so I can get things kind of switched gears here so we can get into the news. Okay, I got to situate my stuff, my notes and everything. Give me 25 seconds. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. If you want to take the time right now to head over to all the Huddle Hub podcast social medias right now and hit that follow button while we're on this 25-second break, we'd gladly appreciate it, but make sure you come back right here when we come back. So make sure you're heading over to all the Huddle Hub podcast social medias right now. Well, after the show. Wait till after the show or when we take our next commercial break. We'll take a next break after we get through the news and situate over to where I make my predictions for week one. Make sure you're heading over to all the Huddle Hub podcast social medias right now. If you are on the Twitch channel, right in the bio is all the links to all the social medias, X, TikTok, and YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube. That's how you follow. You don't have to pay anything. You probably hear the word subscribe and you're thinking, oh man, I got to pay something. No, you don't have to pay anything to watch the Huddle Hub podcast on YouTube. You hit that subscribe button though, you can take part in the chat. That's the cool thing about subscribing on the YouTube. But go follow us on X as I make all show announcements on the X. And on TikTok, I post videos on TikTok as well. So please go hit that follow button on the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias. It would definitely be appreciated as we build the Huddle Hub Podcast going in to the 2025 season and beyond. So let's get into the news part of things. Available Sundays. I'm starting to get into college football. Awesome, Cam. We'll talk off air. Brother. Let's get into the news part of things. Zadarius Smith, edge rusher. Now, you guys, if you've watched this show since the beginning, since episode 1 of the Huddle Hub podcast, I've been very big on edge rusher Zadarius Smith. Okay, I think the dude is a beast, right? And he's been a beast his whole career. I just feel like a lot of teams that had him on really didn't give him that opportunity. Well, guess what? He's getting another opportunity. He has signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. So he is going to be putting on a Philadelphia Eagles uniform and will be suiting up this Sunday to play, or next Sunday, against the Kansas City Chiefs. So Zadarius Smith has signed a 1-year deal with the Eagles. There's no confirmation on how much the 1-year deal is worth. It's just noticed that he did sign a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. Micah Parsons, edge rusher of the Packers, he was listed questionable for week 1 against the Lions with his back injury. It was announced on Saturday that he will be participating. He will be making his Packers debut against the Lions. So expect to see the number 1 on the field for the Green Bay Packers, and Micah Parsons, the first player in 99 years to wear the number 1 for the Green Bay Packers. So it's going to be a pretty historic moment for not only Micah Parsons, but for the Green Bay Packers themselves. Christian McCaffrey, running back of the 49ers, he was listed questionable for their week 1 matchup against the Seahawks earlier this week. With his calf injury, there is an update. He will be good to go against the Seahawks in week 1. So he will be playing. You will see Christian McCaffrey on the field, and he'll be on the field for the first time since last season. So that injury has really eluded him, even through training camp this year. And but he's going to be good to go for their week 1 matchup against the Seahawks. Tyler Bass, kicker of the Bills, he was placed on injured reserve with his hip growing injury. So Tyler Bass, it's still questionable on how long he's going to be out. But when you go on injured reserve, you're necessarily on injured reserve for at least 4 weeks. So the Bills put Tyler Bass on injured reserve. So they're going to have a new kicker with Tyler Bass on injured reserve. Chase Young, defensive end of the Saints, he's ruled out of the week 1 matchup against the Cardinals with a calf injury. So a big part of the Saints defense is going to be out, which is crazy. Xavier Worthy was decimated by Travis Kelce. We're going to get into the Xavier Worthy injury in a moment, as an update did come out about the Xavier Worthy injury. So I'll get into that in a moment. It is part of this list of news that has come out. Zion McCollum, cornerback of the Buccaneers, he had signed a 3-year deal worth $48 million extension. So Zion McCollum is going to be a Buccaneer for at least the next 4 years as he gets an extension for $48 million. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver of the Giants, he's questionable for their week 1 matchup against the Commanders with a back injury. A lot of back injuries happening in the NFL as of late. You got Micah Parsons, you got Matthew Stafford, you got Malik Neighbors, a lot of back issues going on. And I can attest to those back issues. The back issues are no joke. They're not. And Malik Neighbors seems to be the next guy that's dealing with this. So he is questionable for the matchup against the Commanders in week 1. Ben Van Sumeren, fullback of the Eagles, he tore his patella tendon in Thursday's win against the Cowboys. He will be out for the season. So the fullback for the Eagles will be out for the 2025 season. Quinshon Judkins, running back of the Browns, he got drafted back on draft day, first round draft pick. Actually, I believe he was a second round draft pick. I got to look up that statistic. I believe he was a second round draft pick. We're going to look. And then we'll restart that one. I believe he went in the first round. Nah, he was second round. All right, so Quinshon Judkins, second round draft pick, running. Oh my gosh, Quinshon Judkins, running back of the Browns, he was a second-round draft pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, has finally signed his deal with the Browns. He signed a 4-year deal worth $11.4 million. He is the last player from the 2025 NFL Draft to sign his contract. So now all 2025 NFL Draft picks are signed. And he should be activated and ready to go to take on the Bengals in week 1. So keep a lookout for Quinshon Judkins. He should be on the roster for week 1 against the Bengals. Cam Hayward, defensive end of the Steelers. He will play week 1 against the Jets. Now, earlier this week, head coach Mike Tomlin, said that he believes Cam Hayward will be on the field against the Jets on Sunday. Well, the talks were kind of out there. They didn't know whether he was going to be on the field or not because of his hold-in with his contract. Well, as of Saturday, the contract was situated, and now Cam Hayward could make up to $18 million this season. He could make up to $18 million a season with reworking his contract on Saturday. So Cam Hayward will be on the field against the Jets in week 1. So Steelers fans, there you go. Cam Hayward will be on the field. And finally, Xavier Worthy, wide receiver of the Chiefs. The new news has come out as a few moments ago. He did dislocate his shoulder in that collision in the first play in Friday's game against the Chargers. He collided with Travis Kelce on the first play. Just a mishap that happened. And he ended up dislocating his shoulder and will be out for a couple weeks. It's unknown how long he's going to be out, but dislocated shoulder can take from 4 weeks up to almost a year, all depending on how bad the dislocation was. So Xavier Worthy will be out for at least 4 weeks. So rough go for Xavier Worthy. And Ben Van Sumeren from the Eagles, out for the season after the opening kickoff. He ended up getting injured. And that's rough. So yeah, it was a nasty, nasty collision. It was a very nasty collision. And I remember that collision like it was yesterday because it happened on Friday. But it was a nasty collision. And yeah. Oh, man. So that's it for the news. That's all we got. I don't think I missed anything. I hope I didn't miss anything. I don't think I missed anything. Double check and make sure that I didn't miss everything. This is what happens when you wake up late and when you want to do final prep an hour before the show. And it's like, man. Oh, okay. Well, I think we do have some breaking news here. So, Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy dislocated his shoulder. They are still undergoing tests. So there's a possibility of surgery. And we do have some breaking news. Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams agreed to a 3-year extension worth $83 million. So wide receiver of the Lions, Jameson Williams, agreed to a 3-year extension worth $83 million. So he will be a Lion at least through the year 2029. So Jameson Williams, congratulations. There you go. Lions are going to have a very, very good wide receiver through the year 2029. That is awesome. All right, guys, let's take 30 seconds. We're gonna switch things over, and then we're gonna start going down the predictions for week number 1 and talk about some of the matchups that are happening in week 1 of the NFL. We'll be right back after this. So make sure you're heading over to all the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias right now and hit that follow button. Well, not right now, but when we end the show here, head over to all the social medias and make sure you're hitting that follow button over on the X, the YouTube, and on TikTok. On YouTube, you hit that subscribe button. That way you can take part in the chat during live shows, and you can comment and everything like that on the video. Well, you should be able to comment on the videos whether you subscribe or not, but it would deeply be appreciated if you do hit that subscribe button, and over on the Twitch as well at the Huddle Hub Podcast, and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast going into the 2025 season and beyond. We're going to get into week 1 of the NFL, some very big matchups happening, but let's talk about the week 1 matchups that happened already. The Eagles end up defeating the Cowboys 24-20 in a very, very good game on Thursday night. I'm going to say this right now. Some people expected the Eagles to come into this game and completely devour the Cowboys. And that's just so. The Eagles have, in my opinion, the most complete team built in football. And they are the youngest defense in football right now. I mean, the average is 24 years old on that defense. And there's comments out there of like, oh, the Eagles defense ain't the same. It's not the same team as last year. Well, no, it's not the same team as last year. They brought in some guys from free agency. They drafted some guys. There's guys that are going into their second year that are starting to become leaders for this team. You know, and so just like last year, the first 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be a rough go. Last year, if you remember, the Eagles on defense had a rough go until they hit their bye week. And then once they got into the bye week, they came out and all systems go. So I came across a post yesterday from a very famous, I'll just say this, a very famous ESPN announcer. And he was completely devouring the Eagles. And I'm sitting here thinking, here we go again. And the last time this guy did this, what happened? Eagles hoisted the Lombardi Trophy, right? Okay. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be the case this year. I kind of personally am, because I still think the Eagles, being the most complete built team in football, are going to repeat. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an Eagles fan. I'm saying that because that's what I believe. Bills are second, Ravens are third, Buccaneers are fourth. Okay? And the Cowboys looked really good. Not going to lie. Cowboys looked good on Thursday night. Kansas City is a very beatable team this year. They are, Cam. They are very beatable. You know, I did my predictions and I got eaten alive. Well, in the comment section, the people that wanted to comment on said predictions thought they were eating me alive, right? They weren't. Because the Chiefs are a very beatable team to the fact where, yeah, my predictions are they're not going to make the playoffs. Do I think the Chiefs are realistically going to make the playoffs? Yes. But at 11-6 at best, maybe 10-7. Okay? And both games were really good. All 4 teams looked really good. Now, as we get deeper in the season, as we know, the better teams are going to start breaking away, as the teams that are struggling are going to start finding. I mean, last year, look at the Saints. The Saints were the highest scoring team in football in the first 2 weeks last year, and then once they met the Eagles in week 3, that fell apart. It fell apart. And they only ended up winning 5 games last season. Okay? So, again, this is the beginning of the year. Anything and everything is going to happen. and every team is going to look like they are a Super Bowl contender. Almost every team. But once we get deeper in the season, the pack of teams will end up breaking away, and we'll start seeing who is the actual contenders and who's the actual, draft pick, leaders. So, and their defense did struggle. Their offensive line struggled. I mean, the offensive line, it was almost a continuation of what we've seen in the Super Bowl against Philadelphia. Patrick Mahomes was, I wouldn't say he was running for his life, but he was being rushed. He was being hurried, So this whole, Chiefs are, a lot of people, Chiefs are going to go 15-2 again and make it back to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's the case. That's the case. And I'm a small-time podcaster, so I'm going to get these comment section is going to think they're eating me alive because I'm particularly a nobody just coming on doing a podcast, right? I'm sure their opinions of me will change once we get deeper into the season and they see that the Chiefs, aren't the team that they thought they were. So it was. Can agree with that. So let's get into week one. Again, the Eagles defeating the Cowboys 24-20 on Thursday night. The Chargers defeated the Chiefs 27-21. Two very close games. Friday night, two very close games. So let's get into the rest of the action. I do have John's picks for week one. As you know, we do our pick challenge. This is year number 7 of us doing this pick challenge. And John has defeated me every year. Every year. For the past 6 seasons, John has defeated me. This is going to be a different year. I'm saying it right now. Now, we both took the Eagles on Thursday night, which we both won. But then I took the Chargers and he took the Chiefs on Friday night. And I got the win there. So I am leading the pick challenge right now 2-1. So let's get into it. The Buccaneers take on the Falcons today in a early NFC South matchup. Me and John both took the Buccaneers in this game. Again, I think the Buccaneers are one of the most complete teams put together. They are number 4 on my list. I think the Buccaneers, even with, some injuries that are looming in them, a lot of people are overlooking Tampa Bay. I think they are. And Tampa Bay, I feel is going to surprise a lot of people. I do. I feel like they're going to surprise a lot of people this season. So even though they went, 10-7 last year and won their division, or 12-5 last year and won their division, I forget what their record was. But anyways, this year I think Tampa Bay is taking the South again. Michael Penix Jr., he is coming into his first full year as a starting quarterback. Okay, last year he came in late into the season, had an opportunity to get the Falcons to the playoffs, and it didn't happen. It didn't go their way, right? So that was a good stepping stone for Michael Penix, coming in towards the back end of his rookie year to take over. Part of me is feeling like Kirk Cousins may come in for this team by week 6 or 7. If Michael Penix has this team on a one win or 2 win record by week 7 or 8, I feel like Kirk Cousins might come back in. I think that's why the Falcons made the decision to keep Kirk Cousins around. Other than that, I think they would have traded him. And I believe there was a suitor out there for that contract, because there's a couple teams that could have afforded Kirk Cousins. There is. And one of those teams does have the money to do the deal. So question is why didn't you? Well, I think this is the reason why. Because they're keeping Kirk Cousins in their back pocket. So, but we both went with the Buccaneers. Bengals head into Cleveland to take on the Browns in not only of the Battle of Ohio, but a very early AFC North matchup. And me and John both took the Bengals. The Dolphins head into Indianapolis to take on the Colts today. Me and John both took the Dolphins. The Panthers head into Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. I took the Panthers. John took the Jaguars. The Raiders head into New England to take on the Patriots. We both took the Raiders. The Cardinals head into New Orleans to take on the Saints. We both took the Cardinals. The Steelers head into New York to take on the Jets. John took the Steelers. I took the Jets in this game. Okay. The Giants head into Washington to take on the Commanders. We both took the Commanders. On the 4 o'clock slate of games, the Titans head into Denver to take on the Broncos. We both took the Broncos. The 49ers head into Seattle to take on the Seahawks. We both took the 49ers. The Lions head into Green Bay to take on the Packers in a early NFC North matchup. John took the Lions. I took the Packers. The Texans head into Los Angeles to take on the Rams. John took the Rams. I took the Texans. And then on Sunday Night Football, the Ravens head into Buffalo to take on the Bills. We both took the Bills. And then on Monday Night Football, the Vikings head into Chicago to take on the Bears. We both took the Bears. So Cam making his picks in the chat as we go along here. I'm going to do some content creating really quick here. Sorry. Here are my week 1 predictions for the 2025 NFL season. I have the Buccaneers over the Falcons, the Bengals over the Browns, the Dolphins over the Colts, the Panthers over the Jaguars, the Raiders over the Patriots, the Cardinals over the Saints, the Jets over the Steelers, the Commanders over the Giants, the Broncos over the Titans, the 49ers over the Seahawks, the Packers over the Lions, the Texans over the Rams, the Bills over the... God damn it. This is why I got to put my phone on mute, because I'm continuously getting text messages. Hey, you're trying to do something, right? So I got to do this over again. Sorry. Bad part about working alone, and you're trying to create. So, last time. Here are my week 1 predictions for the 2025 NFL season. I have the Buccaneers over the Falcons, the Bengals over the Browns, the Dolphins over the Colts, the Panthers over the Jaguars, the Raiders over the Patriots, the Cardinals over the Saints, the Jets over the Steelers, the Commanders over the Giants, the Broncos over the Titans, the 49ers over the Seahawks, the Packers over the Lions, the Texans over the Rams, the Bills over the Ravens, and the Bears over the Vikings. All right. All right. So there are the predictions for week 1. John's predictions are Bucks, Bengals, Dolphins, Jaguars, Raiders, Cardinals, Steelers, Commanders, Broncos, 49ers, Lions, Rams, Bills, and Bears. Those are John's predictions. We have 5 different for this week, and I am leading 1-0 already as far as differentials. So I lead by 1 right now, which is great. So excited about that. My focus is I have so much of a focus on winning this year in this pick challenge. I need to win. I do. I need to win. So I'm debating on whether I want to do, actually, you know what? I'm going to save this for Tuesday's show because I have my prediction for league MVP. I do. I have my prediction for league MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year, and defensive rookie of the year. And I was going to kind of do it on today's show, but I think I'm going to wait until Tuesday to see if John wants to do his for when we go live on Tuesday night. So I think that's when what I'm going to do is save it and see if he wants to. If not, I will do my predictions for rookie for MVP, offense, defensive player of the year, and rookie of the year on offense and defense next week. So I think that's when I'll do it if he doesn't want to do it on Tuesday night. So, but that's all I got for you guys. That's it. 60 minutes. Now, normally we're 2 hours, but got through everything in 60 minutes. So got some time to chill out before every game kicks off. So, league MVP Joe Burrow. Cam. Our minds think alike. It's nuts. Oh, man. Jeez. Guys, make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Up Podcast social medias right now over on Twitch. If you're on the Twitch right now, all the links to all the social medias are in the bio to the X, the YouTube, and the TikTok at the Huddle Hub Pod. I make show announcements on the X, so that's why you want to go follow the X. I post videos and shorts on the YouTube, so please make sure you head over and subscribe to the YouTube. That's how you follow on YouTube. And then on TikTok, I post videos on there as well. So please head over to all the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias, hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. That's how you follow there. So that way you can help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast going into the 2025 season and beyond. It would definitely be appreciated. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And again, you can't make that shit up because I literally had these written down a couple days now. So it's not like I sat here and took a pen and said, oh, I'm going to match this up, right? No, our minds sometimes think alike. You know, if you guys want to follow me on social media, I am over on MetalMike714 on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. That's where you can find me on social media. I don't do much personal content creating. I do some fun stuff here and there on my TikTok. You know, most of my content creating is on the shows here, whether it's on the Huddle Up Podcast, over on the Boom, or on the Table Spot on Rivet City Radio's Twitch and Off the Top Media's YouTube channel. So most of my content creating is right there on the shows. So there we go. Me and John, again, will be back here on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Weekend Review Show. Yes, a second show here on the Huddle Hub Podcast. We are very young. I get that, but we are going to expand, and, you know, that's all there is to it because we can. So a second show is coming, linked up like Bluetooth. That's right. That's right. If we were linked up like Bluetooth, just imagine that if we were linked up like Bluetooth, we would be the probably the furthest a Bluetooth can ever link up because of the distance between us, right? So the miles that the Bluetooth connection covers from Pennsylvania to Indiana, that is a crazy connection, right? But make sure you're heading over and following me on social media. Me and John will be back here on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're hitting that follow button right here on the Twitch channel and over on the YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. You can see the live on either, platform, and you can see the replays of the shows on YouTube. So me and John will be back here on Tuesday for the Weekend Review Show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we review everything and all the action from Week 1 of the NFL and Week 2 of college football. With that being said, I appreciate everybody who stopped by today, and thank you everybody for showing your love and support. Again, building here, definitely appreciate all the support from everybody. Let's keep it going. Get your friends, your families, your pets, your neighbors. If you see a stranger on the street, tell them, go check out the Huddle Up Podcast. Get them to hit that follow button. Help us build the Huddle Up Podcast here going into the 2025 season and beyond, and help us grow. It's definitely appreciated. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Take care of each other. Be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. We will see you on Tuesday night for the Weekend Review Show. Have a great one. Enjoy your Week 1. Enjoy the Week 1 games, and good luck to your team. Deuces, everybody.